Hi, Dr. Jill here with Class Intercom, and I'm excited to welcome you back to the content generation and I'm thrilled to be speaking with Anu Vaid today, who is the founder and brainchild behind Anu, welcome to my podcast today. And tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm so honored to be here. The great venue to TSPRA. So right now, so to talk about ParentSquare, really what we do for schools is we help schools engage families for students and have them do very simple that engage families actually result in engaged students. Really, that's what schools need for students themselves. Think about it. What they need parents care about education, and teachers care about education. They know that school is important to my parents. That's what makes the magic happen.
It's so much about relationships.
Yes.
So the problem is that technology, like people put technology as a component, that relationship, what's the
So I guess we live in a world where technology is everywhere, and technology can never quite replace human connections, like like you and I are talking in a meeting. But technology really can complement and really solidifies that. So, especially at the generation, parents of students who are going to school, but they don't really know. It's become so important that students like technology, and really, the way we do it, we make sure it doesn't get in the way, but it's really to see, I say it just works.
It's true because maybe able to see it, maybe it's so much different being on quiet. There's some
Okay.
ParentSquare's, when we started, the kid that the world changes. It's an entirely remote company now, but we all get to meet once a year, and at least once a year. Yes, free. It's just when we get to hug each other, remember names.
Yeah. Well, tell me a lot of people. Can you share that maybe for some of our viewers?
Absolutely. So, really it started when my daughter started kindergarten, and I was a person working there at that time. And it was like crazy because teachers were sending us papers at that time. And this principal was writing newsletters and sending emails and robocalls coming home. And it's like almost a full-time job trying to resolve information. All very fragmented. So I took a year off and my daughter started first grade. And that was the time I could pick her up from school and I on that home with the teacher. And I really don't know phrase that. Really, 2 years after, start something with this. My passion and also my life doing the part that really stop. went to the principal. She loved the idea. She said, here are 3 teachers. So from very early on, it's just this partnership. The idea was to but the communication coming from school and was to build that deep connection with the teacher.
I love that, mothers, the,
Yeah.
right? It's so cool. Yeah. Wait, necessity is the mother of invention.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so cool. About ParentSquare is that the mission mindedness of really serving the schools and the families, because we're all in this together, right? Like parents are sending the best they got to school every day, and we're there to serve them
And
too.
everybody has such good intentions.
Yes.
Like, they really, as a parent, we all want the best for our kids. But not everybody knows how to do that. And for some of our families, even their culture is different, right?
Yes.
School is different, home is different. So how do you involve them? And, obviously, as we got into it, we got very focused on what research is out there. And then you study that really, if you help schools involve families, that's when, the thing flips, because schools really don't have the tools and they were not really taught how to involve families. So
Yeah.
how do you make them partners?
Yeah.
And that's where we come in.
Yeah, that's so well. As a teacher and principal for 30 years myself,
Oh,
I think back to my teacher training, and I graduated from college in 1991, so it's a long time ago. We know better, we do better, but
Yes.
they didn't train you in a lot of things, like even assessment or parent teacher conferences. No one
Yes.
helped practice that, so we for sure weren't talking about how do you communicate with parents. And obviously there's been such an evolution in technology, so
Yeah.
it's amazing to just see that grow. So you mentioned the pandemic, which is something we made us all pivot. Besides that, what are some other maybe barriers or things that you've had to overcome with the building of the company, those types of things?
Every stage of a company is different, right? This January, we celebrated 14 years.
It's amazing.
Of the launch
Congratulations.
Of Thank you. And I would say, honestly, every stage has been difficult, but really learning from the schools and listening to what they say and how the product evolves. We say, hey, you define the roadmap, and this learning is important. And obviously, as we build the company, the other thing that is very, very important is that you retain the culture in the company.
Yeah.
So, that's very important for, especially when, we just, got a really big company, Remind, into the fold.
Yeah.
And we really, so the 2 companies, the other one was Gabbard, which is websites. And so as we brought in these companies, we really wanted everyone to feel like one company, and we wanted the product to look like one company. So just how do you integrate them? How do you, percolate that culture throughout?
Yeah.
Was one of the big challenges, because at ParentSquare, we've had this very listening-oriented culture, working with and unifying the entire platform, and not just have silos. So that is important.
Yeah. Well, and from the outside looking in, you've done that masterfully. So,
Thank you.
And just to hear the people in your company from those different pieces that have become part of the ParentSquare family, like really been able to see that as well. So kudos to you for being able, because that is a heavy lift.
And people who meet us at these conferences, they can feel it. For us, it's very important for us when we're serving our schools, that our schools get to experience the culture and the care that we provide.
Yeah.
So
that's fantastic. So what do you see in the next 5 to 10 years? Is there something that you're hoping for, excited about? The changes are moving so quickly.
Yeah, at next 5 to 10 years, obviously you have to talk about AI.
Yeah.
Right. And the great thing is that, when it first started, it was a lot of hype. But nowadays, it's getting from hype to practical. What is it that AI is doing for me that is not just generative AI? Go polish the piece that I've written, right? So, at ParentSquare, we took a very purposeful approach. We're like, hey, if we are going to look at AI, we're going to look at how do you again, make technology easier, right?
Mhm.
So the first thing with generative AI, what we did is let's write the content that you've written, rewrite it into plain language so that it can be translated easily for making sure that the communication is equitable.
Yes.
Because so many times you don't realize you are including these phrases and these idioms in your "it's raining cats and dogs,"
Yes.
right? These things don't translate very well.
Mhm.
So to convert it into plain language, the other thing we're doing is we are making compliance easier
Mhm.
so that schools don't even have to bother about compliance, right?
Yeah.
Let AI do that job for
Yes.
you.
Mhm.
So we are looking to our schools again as to, hey, what are the problems that you're facing? And then we are thinking, how do we use AI? The other thing that is coming up, which is possible with AI now, is the personalization at scale.
Mhm.
We've talked about personalization forever. I mean, imagine a child, like everyone learns at a different pace and everyone wants different kind of information, right? So how do you do that at scale
Mhm.
where you're catering to this individual family just the way they need it,
Mhm.
right? So
Yeah.
that is exciting,
Yeah.
um, and we say not more tech, but simple tech.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, teachers are bombarded so much with tech. It's
Mhm.
insane. Like if you talk to teachers, they're being given a tool every day
Mhm.
to try.
Yeah.
And you have to recognize the teacher burnout that is happening.
Mhm.
So hopefully, we're able to simplify all of that, streamlining into one tool so that one thing looks like the other thing and the third thing and the fourth thing,
Yeah.
so that it's easy.
Yeah. And I love that so much because we do know that we are reaching really pandemic proportions of teacher shortages.
Yes.
And quality teachers and supporting them in it so they can continue to do it, because the things they deal with on a personal level, relationship level, and then we ask them to personalize every lesson for every student every day, and that sounds wonderful, but to actually do that is mind-boggling, honestly. So
Yeah.
I just love, if we can harness the technology to help us then be more relational, because we can spend our time being relational and human with our students.
Yeah, and teaching the students rather than trying to figure out how technology works.
Yeah, definitely. Well, as we wrap up here, is there anything that you want to make sure and share that we haven't talked about already?
One thing I'm most proud of, obviously, is that we are now serving about 20 million students
That's
in the country.
amazing. Yeah.
That's about 40% of the students, so it just is, as I said, it's the love of the school districts who share with us what they need and other districts see it. So if, if there are any districts out there who are looking to improve parent engagement, and engagement is something that is very, very important to us. Not just, I say we take parents from informed, where they're, we are reaching 100% of the families, which is very important, to involved, where we are doing the two-way communication, inviting them to participate, and then taking them to engaged, where they are truly, valuing the education and they're becoming advocates and partners for the school districts. And really, when the parents go out and talk about you, it's just like our customers talk about us.
Yeah.
That's when that advocacy helps school districts, right? So that's what they want, and that's what ParentSquare brings. But I really encourage schools to talk to other schools about ParentSquare. We're also introducing a product on chronic absenteeism to help kids. There's ParentSquare Pay that we just launched. So bringing everything in one platform is what we're doing.
Yeah. Well, and I said wrap up, but we should touch on chronic absenteeism just a little bit. I know I mentioned to you, I went to a session just last week on that. That was a problem, a challenge that was near and dear to me when I was a high school principal, because you want kids there and there's reasons why they're not coming in the door. And a lot of times we think we know the reason, but we don't. And so is there anything else you want to share, just how ParentSquare is really addressing that issue?
So, for us, it's very important. Obviously, we've been doing family engagement for a long time. And really, the measure of family engagement is, are students engaged, right? So that's what you want family engagement for. So what we are doing is we are using the data that we already have with family engagement. We're using AI to identify families who are really, may not be as engaged, and how do you then personalize reaches to them? How do you, go from, a tier 1, which is universal engagement, to how do you get those families back on track? So that is very, very important. So, working with the school districts, not just reactively address chronic absenteeism,
Yeah.
but proactively figure out like, hey, these are the students who may be at risk.
Yeah, and getting everybody involved, because again, we already mentioned
Yes.
everybody wants the best for those
Yes.
kids, that we all have great intentions. It's making sure we work together
Absolutely.
and get them all involved.
We feel privileged that we're able to help schools with the absenteeism.
That's
and
amazing.
Looking very forward to, the efficacy and the results that come out of it.
Well, I love the work you do, and
Thank you.
definitely I look up to you just as a mom,
Oh my
as someone who
God, so do
impacts
I.
education, and just seeing a problem and not complaining about it, but seeking a solution. And you built something really, really special, and care about that. And it's the people that I really care about that you're helping. And so can't say enough about you and your company, and just really appreciate you taking some time to have a conversation today.
Thank you so much. I mean, we loved working with Class Intercom. So thanks for all the work that you do, getting students out there, their voices out there. So important.
Yeah, you bet. Well, thanks so much for being here today.
Thank
and
you.
I appreciate you being on the podcast.
Yep. Thank you.